Hello and welcome to Where Are They Now with Mario Toneguzzi on Megapix Media. Joining me today is legendary football coach Gary Deman, who coached many championship teams and many star players at St. Francis over the years. Thanks for joining us today, Gary.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of going down memory lane, I think, here. Gary, I just want to get some factual stuff out of the way first. Can you tell me, first of all, Gary, how many years did you coach at St. Francis?
I coached there about 30 years,
About 30 years. And when did you retire?
1992-3
Nine.
school year.
Okay. And what was your first year there?
Well, the first year was 1962, but we didn't have a senior team the first year. We're just a new school.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay, then. When you started the program there, yeah, did you go straight to St. Francis, or did you come from some other school first?
Well, I was at St. Mary's for a year first. Before that, I was a junior high teacher.
Oh, okay. And what did you teach in junior high?
I started actually in grade 4 and 5, and then ended up in 7, 8, and 9 teaching social studies mainly.
Okay. Now, when you look back over the years at what the St. Francis program became, you're surprised at the success that it achieved over the years?
I don't think surprised, but very pleased.
Yeah. And any thoughts on why the program was so successful?
Well, my years of coaching in junior high ahead of St. Mary's, and then I coached football at St. Mary's with a very fine coach named Bill Casanova, who had won a couple of city championships as well. I had developed a philosophy of strong team building and no stars. Everybody's a member of the team. Everybody deserves equal credit. That type of thing was very important to me.
Now, when you look back on those years, was there any team that you remember the most that may have been the best team that you ever coached?
Oh, that would be a very hard question to answer. I suppose the most exciting thing was the first city championship in 1969. We beat Viscount Bennett and Peter Cannellan, who was later to become U of C coach, and was legendary coach at U of C. And he was at the time a very renowned high school coach. And so it was a big thrill to beat Peter's team in the city championship.
Okay, great. Now, when you look back at those years as a coach, what were the types of things you wanted, beyond the football skills, obviously? What were the types of things you wanted to teach those kids? What was important to you?
What was important to me that I wanted them to pick up very badly was that although sport was important, it was more important to get your education. And as a result, I'm very proud of the fact that we had 17 of the kids get university scholarships in the States at St. Francis, and that we had a much larger number go to U of C and work with Peter Cannellan later and get championships there, but more important, their education. And Peter said to me one day at a banquet where he was presenting a trophy that none of our players had ever failed a course. They had all passed university, and he said that was amazing.
Yeah. Any particular players you remember most?
Oh, people like Tom Forzani, who helped build the program and who later ended up getting a university scholarship down to the States and ended up setting the NCAA record for passes caught. That was very significant. And then many of the players I remember very well for succeeding with the Stampeders, and it was a joy to watch them play later with the Stampeders.
Yeah. Yeah. And in terms of carrying on, I guess, your legacy at the school, uh, what do you think the school and the succeeding coaches did right to keep that program at that such a top level of competition?
Well, my guess would be that one of the major factors was that most of the coaches that followed me had played for me.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, right from the day I retired, the team was taken over by graduates of my football program, and they made a point of trying to follow what we had done in the years prior, and with the same attitude of team before me, and things like that. And I felt that was the important thing.
Yeah, no, obviously it's a different this year because of the pandemic. But I'm just curious, over the last recent years, do you still go to the games?
Yes, yes, I'm very often. Well, I go to at least the city finals. Sometimes I go to a few other games, and I've been invited to go back. The first few years after I retired, the coaches asked me to come back and help coach. Not officially, but to be on the field and help them out.
Yeah.
And so I had a fair bit to do with the continuing program.
Now, when you retired, what was the thing that you missed most about coaching?
The kids. I missed the kids, the contact with the kids. That was all important. It was so much fun to be a coach. It was a real privilege to be a coach.
Yeah. Now, at that time, were you coaching both the junior and senior teams, or?
Oh, no, just the senior. No, I did not coach the junior.
Oh, okay. What kind of a connection, though, was there between the two? But because obviously the juniors would move on to the seniors, like the philosophy, I guess, of the junior teams were there same as what you were teaching for the players in senior?
Well, it was not identical, but it was close. And they sometimes some of the coaches who were coaching junior would even use our plays, but those things weren't as important as them having the attitude of you're here to go to school, you're here to become a better human being. That's what you're really here for. Football is just fun and a nice vehicle to use.
Okay. Now, a lot of the people that played in that program and participated, have become very successful business and community leaders out there. Everybody knows Tony Spallettini, of course, and of Spalumbos. Heath Brown, was on TV, and Al Galemi, an accomplished accountant in the city. Are you surprised at how well people have moved on from the program and became so successful in their lives?
Well, I don't know. Surprise would be the right descriptor. I think pleased would be a better descriptor. Rick Hansen, who was the chief of police, was also a valuable member, actually, of the very first championship team, and is still a good friend of mine.
Yeah, and what, do you think that a lot of the things they learned from football and that program helped them be successful in other careers?
Well, to answer that honestly, I would refer back in my head to a bunch of thank you notes that I received in years following from them, and they said it did. So I'll take their word for it.
Okay, great. And Gary, I'm just curious, what was your football background before becoming a teacher and coaching football?
Well, I had played for several years at St. Mary's High School under Father Wheelahan,
Oh
who
yeah.
was a renowned coach at the time, a very, very excellent coach and teacher and man. And then I had gone to the Bronx, the Calgary Bronx, which was a junior or an intermediate team. And we had won the Western Canadian Championship. And that was
55, 56.
yeah, that's in the 50s.
Okay.
And Bob Freeze, that was the coach. And Bob was an excellent coach who I picked up a lot of ideas from, as well as Father Wheelahan.
Okay. What did you play? What position?
I played defensive end.
Okay. And in your coaching career, like, did you specialize in any particular area in terms of the offense or defense? Or
Yes. I coached the offensive backfield and the offense in general, but specializing with the backfield and the receivers. I had others who coached the line and the defense. Had some excellent coaches through the years, thank heavens.
Yeah, and you, I know Francis over the years, man, the the list of running backs that came out of that school is unbelievable, eh?
Yes, we were very fortunate, and I really strongly believed in running the ball with high school kids at that stage. Anyway, in those years, were not quite as proficient at passing and receiving as they might be now. And so running was very reliable. And we at St. Francis, even from the early years, were blessed with having a number of Italian boys who ended up being about the right body shape for football. And so I remember fondly one year we came out onto the field at McMahon to play for the city championship, and there were a bunch of Stampeders lounging around after their practice. And as we ran by, they said, "Oh my God, I think they're bigger than we are." And to be honest, we outweighed them by about 5 pounds on the offensive line per
Wow.
player. So we, and those were good, solid Italian boys, mainly, not always, but mainly. And it was a blessing for the school to have all those kids.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Gary, to spend with us and chat about your career.
Thank you. Been
Okay.
a pleasure for me.
Okay, super. That was Gary Deman, who was a legendary high school football coach in Calgary, coaching the St. Francis Browns over the years to many city championships and producing a lot of excellent football stars who over the years became, star players in the CFL and elsewhere in university sports. This has been Where Are They Now with Mario Toneguzzi on Megapix Media. Thanks for joining us today.